Good morning, and welcome to First Presbyterian Church, Elizabethton. This morning's service is recorded and live stream broadcast on our church's YouTube channel, which can be found at fpcelizabethton.org.
In the name of the Spirit who journeys alongside us throughout our lives, welcome home, children of God. Peace be with you. Good morning and welcome to First Presbyterian Church this morning as we gather together as God's people in God's name. It is wonderful to be here this morning. I welcome all of you here, whether you're joining us in person or online. Thank you for being a part of this morning's worship service. If you're here, would you please sign that friendship pad, the blue one on the inside aisle, pass it down. If you're online, would you please sign on the YouTube chat? Again, every Sunday we tally up all the people who are in worship and give $1 to a different local or international ministry. Today's fourth Sunday of the month, right? Yep. So the fourth Sunday of the month, our recipient is Presbyterian Disaster Assistance. It's an international ministry, but it's a outreach of our denomination, the Presbyterian Church. It's all over the United States, but our contributions are being directed specifically toward ongoing Helene relief efforts. So we support Presbyterian Disaster Assistance, but since September, all of our PDA contributions are staying right here in kind of western North Carolina, East Tennessee, trying to help with the ongoing need since Hurricane Helene. So just by showing up to church today, whether you're joining in person or online, your presence is helping to support those relief efforts and rebuilding. So thank you for the gift of your presence. This morning is our annual congregational meeting. You'll hear more about that in a little bit, but by our national polity and bylaws, I'm required to announce that to you. So that's coming up in a few minutes. You have been notified. And again, you'll hear more about that during the worship service. I also just want to call everybody's attention to, if you haven't seen your e-news, but for a while now, we, along with a number of other, not just churches, but religious institutions, mosques, synagogues, temples, in February, try to celebrate what is now, it started out as Evolution Sunday, it is now Science and Religion Weekend, depending on what day of the week you celebrate, depends on the faith you're practicing. But we participate in that and have for a long time. So our actual official Sunday will be, as always, the Sunday closest to Darwin's birthday. That'll be February the 16th for us this year. We'll celebrate that up here as well. But all throughout the month of February, downstairs in Adult Forum, we're going to be hearing from some different experts in our congregation. Jeff Fordeska, Brian Dennison, who I don't think is here this morning, and Rain Price, all of them are going to be doing presentations throughout the month of February on different aspects of kind of science and evolution. So I hope you'll make it a point to join us for those. You can join us in person downstairs for Adult Forum. You can also join online. The link is in your newsletter on your website, and you can just join in the Zoom on Sunday mornings from 9:45 to 10:45, and then and that'll be throughout the month of February as we celebrate science and religion together. Jeff, did I miss anything I need to highlight about that, or good to go? Okay. It is really, those are some of my favorite Sundays. I love, because I feel like I learned so much from those guys. This was, I guess, started for us by Julie Wade, maybe. Was she the initiator of that? And so we continue to do that in celebration of her life and legacy as well, but also because it's just a wonderful thing to do. So I hope you'll mark your calendars and join us for that. Any other announcements, joys, concerns, anything you all know of I missed? Wally is okay, yes, thank you. I'll mention that in our prayer concerns and joys. Wally's car was totaled this week when a guy decided to make an illegal U-turn from the right lane and drove literally over the top of his car, totaling it. And so we had our experience with insurance and Johnson City Police Department and everything, but thankfully Wally is okay and walked away from that. So appreciate everybody's outreach and prayers and concerns for him this week. It was kind of a scary week for us, but everybody is okay, and we are very grateful for that. Thank you all. Any other joys, concerns, announcements? Then we will start this morning, as we start every Sunday, by celebrating the gospel around which we gather. And that is that God loves every one of us and all people everywhere without condition and without exception, because in our unique and beautiful diversity, all of us are a reflection of God's beautiful diversity. That includes our unique sexual and gender identities: lesbian, gay, bi, trans, queer, straight, male, female, non-binary. Our diverse racial and ethnic identities: black, brown, white, Asian, indigenous. It includes all people wherever we are on our spiritual journey, looking for wisdom and insight from Christianity or other religions or science, the world around us, one another. It includes all people, rich and poor, young and old, able-bodied and disabled, suffering and rejoicing, for God's love welcomes and embraces all people everywhere, without condition and without exception. So welcome, God's beloved community. We give thanks this morning for the ancestral Cherokee land on which we are gathered, for the loving waters of the Watauga and the Doe River watersheds that nourish us. As we worship today, we commit ourselves anew to work for truth and reconciliation among all people, to respect each other and creation in everything we say and do. So let us worship.
There's a sweet, sweet spirit in this place, and I know that it's the Spirit of the Lord. There are blessings you cannot receive till you know Him in His fullness and believe.
So first off, to all of our regular liturgists, do not panic. Nobody forgot today. I did not schedule a liturgist this Sunday because we're going to be hearing from so many different people this morning. I just figured I would read our invitation to worship. But along those lines, we have, 10 or so folks who have agreed to be liturgists on Sunday. We just rotate through. All you have to do is you'll get the bulletin ahead of time. You come up here, you lead the invitation to worship and read the scripture or other readings for the Sunday. Would love to add more people to that list. If you feel like that's something you could do, please let me know after church, and I'll be happy to add you to that list. Just kind of rotates through every few months, and get to come up here and do exactly what I'm just about to do, which is to invite you all to join me in our invitation to worship. Read the bold print, and I will lead us. This is one of my favorite poems by one of my favorite poets, Wendell Berry. This is his poem, The Peace of Wild Things. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. Invite us to rise in body or spirit as we're able. We'll join in our first hymn, number 761, called as Partners in Christ's Service.
Thank you.
invite you to be seated. So our order of service is a little different this morning, and you'll kind of see why as we get into the service and talk about our meeting and annual report and stuff. But I do have a reading to share with you this morning. It is from Ephesians, and this is probably 70-ish AD, so early in the church's history after Paul, but still, the church is getting started, mostly meeting in houses, small communities, and one of the struggles is trying to figure out kind of how to live and work together. And so the writer of Ephesians offers these words. So then you are no longer strangers and aliens, but you are citizens with the saints, and also members of the household of God, built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, with Jesus Christ himself as the cornerstone. In him the whole structure is joined together and grows into a holy temple in the Lord, in whom you also are built together spiritually into a dwelling place for God. When I was in seminary, I'm trying to remember the exact class, but one of the books that we read was by a theologian, a feminist, womanist theologian named Letty Russell. And she wrote a book called Church in the Round. And one of the things she did was to use her background in social work and family systems theory to look at how churches of all different sizes, but churches function in many of the same ways that families do. Churches can have the same kinds of dynamics that a family does. They can be open or closed systems. An open system is one that kind of can welcome those who are outsiders, integrate them, make them a part of it. A closed family system is one that does not like any kind of intrusion into that. And a lot of the dynamics that, if you think about whatever your household looks like, there are dynamics at play in that, ways that we interact with the other people in our household, in our area. Churches have a lot of those same dynamics at play, and she kind of goes through and explores that. One of the things I realized early on in my career is when I would start out doing premarital counseling for couples, getting ready to get married, and then often talking to them within the first year or two of marriage, there always seemed to be a lot of the tension within those new households often revolved around two things. One was finances. I see heads nodding. That's our experience too. Finances. The other is kind of division of labor. Think about how you share the chores of the household. Who, takes care of the money or the laundry or the dishes or the cooking or, all of those things that have to be done for a household to function. That labor has to be split up somehow. And it's hard to negotiate those things, especially early on when you're learning other personalities, you're learning how to work with other people. How do we do this in a way where we're all kind of hopefully playing to our skills, doing the things that we're good at, helping to our partner or other people in our house to flourish and do things they're good at. And there's a lot of learning and growing and negotiation in that. And of course, Letty Russell's book talks about how those same dynamics work in a church too. We have a budget that we pass, and we really kind of have to figure out how to stick to it. We don't have unlimited money here any more than any of our households do. We got to figure out, well, what's the most important thing to spend that money on? How do we allocate it so that it furthers the things that we want to do together, and does that in kind of a fair and equitable way? Because if you were to ask any one of us, we might have different priorities, but somehow or another we all have to kind of come together and figure out, well, all right, how are we going to take this shared pool of money and use that in a way that is to the most benefit of the community, of the household, the family. The other is division of labor. We are going to share some stuff from our annual report here in a few minutes. You're going to get to hear from some different people who were involved, but one of the ways that we divide labor in this church, and every church really that I've been a part of, is committees or teams or different groups who take on different things. So we have a finance committee, and we have a worship committee, and we have an outreach committee, and a community life committee. And so all of these things that happen in our church, and there are a lot of them, happen because we divide the labor. We share and hopefully find a way to get involved that is meaningful to us, is exciting to us, plays to the things that we are interested in, our strengths and our gifts. And hopefully, as we do that, all of us together are able to do some really amazing stuff. So, the last Sunday of January every year, our worship service looks a little different. What we do is I get to kind of introduce this, and then we'll hear about some of those different things. And I hope for us that this is not just let's go through it, an annual report, but this is a chance to say, hey, when we all do work together and pool our money and our gifts and our time, we can do some really amazing stuff, and a lot of it in this community. And so the idea is this morning, we get to share and celebrate together some of what we have done as a church family last year, and look forward to what we are going to do together this year, hope to do. And my hope is that I see a lot of faces in here, many of whom do a lot here already. But if you're looking for a way to kind of get more connected to this community, to contribute your gifts and your interest and your skills, I hope you'll hear something this morning that kind of excites you. You think, oh man, I'd like to be a part of that. Yeah, okay. You know what we're doing, you know who to talk to, and how to be a part of that, because really, this is how we function together as a healthy household and a healthy church. And so it is my sincere hope that you all can join with me this morning, with all of us, in celebrating what amazing ministry we do and how we can together share and be a part of that. So we are going to hear from some different people this morning, but what we have done last year and what we're looking forward to is also in an annual report. You can, in your bulletins, there's a QR code and there's a link. You can scan that and pull up an electronic copy of this. I have about 15 copies here, which I hope to pass out all 15. So if you are one who doesn't have access to a phone, or can't get it or whatever, let me give you one, because I don't want to waste these, but also we didn't want to print more than we needed because it is a lot of paper and copier ink. So let me know if you need one of these. I'm going to start passing these out in a minute as I try to remember who we're going to invite up first to. Is it SFP? Oh, that'd be, yeah, Dr. David Rohn, yeah. Oh, yeah, and for everybody that's going to share, would you please come to either one of these, doesn't matter, but make sure you're using a mic, because people do, yeah, that one is fine. That way it gets picked up. People at home can also hear and follow along. I don't care which one you want to use, but pick one and speak into a mic. Yeah, what you need is feeling like you have more power and authority.
I do. That's right. That's why I'm coming up here.
Can you do the little animals for us while you're up here? Well, David's doing that. Who would like to take a copy, please? Go ahead, David. You don't have to wait.
All right. So have been the moderator of the Committee on Stewardship, Finance, Personnel. Three things. Stewardship. Y'all decide how we did. I'll tell you what the numbers were. We started off with a goal of having 50 people pledge $170,000. And what we ended up with was $166,000 in pledges, which was a little bit short of our goal, but we were 96% there. right? And 55 people pledged, and I'm really encouraged that more people pledged than was our target. So I think that was an important thing. Finance. Finance is in that report on pages 8, 9, and 10, and you'll see essentially some budget numbers and it starts on page 8, I think, with where our resources are. And one of the things that jumps off the page at me is that the assets of the church right now are slightly more than $1 million, which sounds like that's good. But if you go through the budgets, you'll see that last year's budget we overspent by about $32,000, I think. We were over budget, which is quite a bit over budget. And most of that was my committee, where we had some significant legal expenses in moving the Tom Dixon Trust from one trustee to another, and that required 2 attorneys to do that, and it was at times a little bit of a hostile activity. So, but we got it done, right? And so that's done, and that is now, the trustee is now Argent Trust in Nashville, who are a very professional, skilled company at doing that. All right, is that finances? We could talk a long time about finances. What I want you to come away from this is feeling like ask any question that you have, right? Be happy to answer any question. So, and not now, but at another time. Personnel. So during the year, the big thing in personnel was that Elaine retired as our bookkeeper / treasurer, and so we farmed out a lot of those responsibilities to an external company that can manage our bookkeeping services online, right? And they do this for a big number of churches. So we farmed that out, but that left us with some uncovered administrative responsibilities, which have gone to Scott, and we are very grateful and lucky to have Scott working in that capacity. And so a lot of that work of tying up loose ends and cleaning up numbers and books and things that have gone not as they should have over the past few years, and that burden has fallen on Brian, right? And so Brian has spent a scary number of hours working on administrative things, and so we're viewing this as a transition period to see, is this going to work? Or are we just going to wear Brian and Scott down to the nub, right? And hopefully they will report out and say, I need help before that becomes a critical issue. All right, so that was stewardship, finance, and personnel. Y'all okay? That's not necessary.
David loves applause. Give him more. Yeah, we're just going to kind of... So you are as much a part of that as anybody getting up here to speak. Be a part of this in whatever way you need to be. Paul, I think you're next, baby. Yeah.
First of all, the wonderful thing about our media team is that we have people come here and who've not been here before. So glad you're here. I am so sorry you came today. I know they're glad you're here, and you're going to learn more about our church by being here today, I can assure you. So anyway, come back again so that you can see more about our actual worship experience. It's 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning. You walk in the sanctuary, it is decorated appropriately. Not only with the banners, the beautiful banners in this room, but you also see the candles. You see the paraments that indicate the liturgical calendar that we represent and we work toward. There's everything that you see. Basically, it happens at 11 a.m. on a Sunday morning that you come in here for worship is under the auspices of the worship committee, the worship sanctuary committee. Whether it be Christmas or whether it be Thanksgiving or whether it be Easter, all of that is basically comes under our umbrella. There's a lot of people who work, a lot of people who plan. But I will tell you that the worship committee is one of those things that not only prepare the sanctuary, but they also take care of the things called pulpit supply. When Brian is away on education or vacation or whatever, and sometimes when he's not even away, the pulpit committee is responsible to find the folks that will be most meaningful to the congregants in that supply time. So we are truly grateful, and I just want to thank all those people who are part of that and encourage you that along with this, they work very closely, our committee works very closely with the music team as well. So worship, it's our gig. And we try to make it, and as we have in your annual report, you'll see it says the worship team maintains the elements of worship and the proper environment to enhance worship that include providing the means to create and preserve sacred space, meaningful ritual, and an inspiring, creative, reverent experience for all who gather to worship. So that's what we do here. If you would like to be a part of worship, we invite you to please contact me, and we will be happy, or contact Brian, and we'd be happy to have you as a part of our team because we can use all the help we can get. Now, I will leave that topic, and instead of sitting down, with the permission of our moderator of the session, who happens to be our pastor, I am going to go ahead and talk about the music leadership team very quickly. And I will tell you this, music is not important at First Presbyterian Church. It's not important. It's essential. It is so much a part of the reverence that we have from the time that people come in here. And I want to thank, first off, for the last 3 weeks, Megan, Cody, Emmeline, thank you so much. These young people have come in here and give the choir an opportunity to have a break. Thank you for allowing us to do that, and Megan coordinated this, and thank you, Megan, for taking care of. So it's been a treat to hear them for the last 3 weeks alone. I'm sure it was, but next week the choir will be back in place, too, probably. So when you come in here in the music, I'll tell you that within worship experience, there's usually at least 7 pieces of music that's prepared for each Sunday morning, and we enjoy that. It's our joy to be a part of that. Chancel Choir works diligently. They have a well-deserved break. And like I said, they'll be back next week. Our handbell choir, you enjoy these. You tell me about them. And we're glad that they are part of our worship experience, plus all those who provide the instrument work. It's incredible how much we have talent in this church, not only up here, but sitting back here as well. And if you have talent musically, shame on you if you don't come and tell me about it. We want to hear you. We want you to participate with us. And whether you sing, whether you want to ring a bell, whether you can play the guitar, we have people who can do some of that, of course. But don't feel like that you can't come to us. We would be honored and thrilled. And you know what? We have a ripping good time. So we want you to feel free to come and be with us. One last thing. This last year, we said goodbye to Roddy. There's 2 more things. Roddy, retired. And at his retirement, we were thinking, we haven't used our organ very much. I want to say a word about this organ. This is an Allen organ. I know it's almost 40 years old. It's an incredible instrument, an amazing instrument. And to give you one idea of how much this instrument is worth, there are cards in this organ that are computer cards. One of those cards, just one of them, and there's like 10 to 15, Cody, is that right? And on this board, on the performance board, they're about $3,000 a piece, a little over $3,000 a piece. So you're talking about an instrument up here that's worth about $45,000 even right now. We are so fortunate because trying to find an organist is a trip. Cody has taken that responsibility on. And as you have heard him, he has been doing that for the last couple of weeks, and we sure appreciate his willingness to do this. We've had the organ worked on. The organ has got to be repaired. What you're hearing is a Cadillac that's absolutely on a donut tire, is what you're hearing. So we've got to get we have one bad board in it, and it's been substituted. So we look forward to getting that in. So if any of you decide you have an extra $1 in your piggy bank, I need $3,000, So, but there has been a $350 gift given toward that. So we're started to get that, so we can get that in there very quickly. Thank you very much. Thank you for your participation. To all those folks who made it available for our worship team, their names are listed. I just don't want to go on without thanking Joan, Carol Ann, Rebecca, Jill, Michael, Roddy, and of course, Brian for their help with that. And your music team now is Joan. And Joan, thank you so much for the dedications that you put in every week with not only the handbell, but playing us on the piano as well. thank you, young people, as well. I shouldn't say young people because you're more mature, but thank you for what you give to us as well. Thank you all.
And your digital media team, Wally. You got anything to share with us? Oh, yeah.
So this year, I joined our digital media team, and we have been doing live streaming all year for services, as well as for some other events around the church. We'll do live streams, we'll do Zooms, we'll do a lot of different stuff. We're still looking for volunteers to help out with the digital media team. If you're interested in that, please come see me, Scott, or my dad. A fun fact about live streaming from 2024 is our Sunday live stream services were viewed 3,664 times in 2024. That's all.
Thank you, Wally. All right, and I think that brings us to our anthem. Cody?
Great is thy faithfulness, O God, my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not, thy compassions they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever wilt be. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Pardon for sin and a peace that endureth, thine own dear presence to cheer and to guide, strength for today and bright hope for tomorrow. Blessings all mine with 10,000 beside. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me.
It's our wonderful deacons' work. Wherever you want to stand, Mel.
Thank you. Is this good? Yep. The deacons have been organized a little bit differently now. We serve on a year-by-year basis. as opposed to coming on as a deacon for a 3-year cycle. So we're hoping that we can pull in as many people as are interested, knowing that you serve as a 1-year commitment, and you can redo this year after year. It's up to you. We are going to miss Carol Ann McElvee and Brenda Wardeska and Ginger, who served as deacons last year, and Ginger was our liaison. And we want to welcome Teresa Rose and Gregory Watterson and Brenda Wardeska as our new liaison. We're here to help you with anything that you feel that we can do. And if we can't do it, we'll try to find somebody that can. Thank you.
Thank you, Mel. Ginger, I saw you. Yeah, there we go.
I think this is a little low for me. I'm a little taller. I've been liaison for Christian education for the last 2 terms. I think of Christian education as 3 pillars. That's adults, children, youth, babies, and education from a larger sense. And these 3 pillars are managed by some of us on the Christian education team. David Roan does a fantastic job with adult education, and Bobby has taken on responsibility for some nursery and youth education. She found a curriculum that is used when we have young people come in, and it is a curriculum that reflects the values and the mission statement of this church. One of the things about these committees is that there are threads that interact with each other. For example, in Christian education, it's a seen thread, but there are also unseen threads where the threads interact. These threads create the matrix that defines this organization, just like the threads in your family or threads in a large bureaucratic organization. Our team members are Sue Farthing and Zachary and Thomas and Gregory. And I know I'm missing somebody, but that's just the way it is sometimes when you do this. So another thread that operates between these committees is benediction. And on the second Sunday of the month, each committee sponsors a get-together downstairs where we can interact and visit. And so that's part of community life, which helps with that, but each committee then provides refreshments and setup for that. Get my glasses on here. So one of the things that we did, because COVID changed the mix of this church population, we didn't have as many youth, we didn't have as many babies, but given the fact that this congregation became a little older, we had people having grandbabies, which brought them to church. And so the deacons wonderfully cleaned out and kind of updated the nursery, and Bobby took on some of the nursery support, and Session voted to hire Analia Price to come in and work the nursery downstairs during the church service. So there again, we have these threads interacting. Now, one of the things that was done this year in lieu of the change of population, we kind of had to redefine Christian education. So we began to focus on what are the issues that affect the definition of Christianity at this time in this present world today. And so we began to look at what are the issues that affect how we define religion, how we define our education of religion. So we sponsored, we also looked at maybe personal growth. So one of the programs that we sponsored, which is free of charge, was the Enneagram. And then we brought in a professor from Tusculum who did the Dead Sea Scrolls. And then we brought in a professor from Appalachian State University, and we did a program on artificial intelligence. And now, coming up in February the 15th, which is the beginning of Faith and Religion, we are bringing in Dr. Jennifer Adler from ETSU History Department, and she's done some research on religion in Appalachia. So on that Saturday before this Faith and Religion goes to honor Julie Wade, she will be presenting some of her research on religion in Appalachia. So I invite you to attend. One of the things as a team I value very much, and that is the support of other teams. And one of the teams that I need very much is the audiovisual and the media team. So I need Wally here, and David has saved my neck a couple times, and Rebecca has been helpful to get that Zoom program going and making sure that the speaker has help. So February, put that on your calendar, February the 15th, Saturday, 10 a.m. until 12:30. And that's how you can support this Christian Education Committee in presenting of this program. So that's my two-bit talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Ginger. Mike, I think, are you doing community life? Is that right? Yeah. Okay.
Suzanne's out of town this weekend, so I volunteered to kind of go over it and forgot about it, so please bear with me as I try to read through this. Community life, as Ginger mentioned, does the Bean Addiction with the assistance of some of the other committees, and there's altogether 8 of them they had this year. Also, they hosted a luncheon for the Manual Seminary students, and hosted 2 dinners for the ETSU UKirk students. Also, Suzanne organized the dinner for 8, which was held in June, and hosted the picnic on the grounds, which was also hosted in June on the 9th. Our dinner on the grounds, which was, I think, a great success, was in September 8th, and our annual appreciation for the church family was held on November 10th with the gratitude luncheon. And not to mention the Christmas dinner that was held on the 22nd. And also the progressive dinner where we all went from house to house, celebrated with different meals at each place. And next year they're going to try to do that and be inclusive with a couple other churches in the area with that. And Susan does a great job with that. It's mainly just setting up the things for these various events, and feel free to help. You know, I've kind of participated, strong back, weak mind, but you know, we're open to any assistance we can get. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Charles or Jeff, building and grounds? Or Mike? I mean,
Building and Grounds Committee consists of me and Mike Rose and Richard Brosmore and Paul Gabinet, and we're responsible for, I guess, helping to maintain this building, the sanctuary, and the grounds. David was talking about his budget was way over. I think we're the other one that goes. I think we were double over what we were supposed to spend this year, but we've had some issues. We're trying to do some major repairs. We're going to have to redo the roof, but with the hurricane and other things, we've had difficulty in finding people to do those things. So hopefully we can get some of that done this year. And the other thing is, if anybody wants to offer their services, I have to give a shout out to Mike and Richard. We probably over about 3 to 4 months, we come here at least 2 to 3 times a month to pick up leaves all day. It's a major job, and so if anybody is retired or want to work a little bit, let me know. We can always use the help. So thank you.
Let's real quick, let's stand, stretch our legs a little bit. Let's sing just verses 1 and 4 of hymn number 767, Together We Serve. Together we serve, united in love.
Mighty God's world through the glorious feast, we work and we bring the sorrow and joy, extending God's love to the lost and the least. Together by grace we witness and work, remembering Jesus in whom we are strong. Together we serve in spirit and truth, remembering love is the strength of our song.
Thank you all. You can see we've got a couple more folks to hear from. A couple quick things to do before we wrap up. You want to share with us anything real quick about welcoming? Used to be membership committee. We've rebranded as welcoming, trying to, sure it's not just about membership, but helping us all feel welcome.
How do you do this? There we go. It's too easy. Well, this is actually pretty short. I think basically the welcoming committee, which is what it's now called, is responsible for greeting the people and meeting people who may be interested in joining the church, new people who come here to visit, and then meeting with Brian and them for any inquiring classes that we have several times a year, and then there to also contact them for the Sunday that we have adjoining Sunday. So that's primarily it. There isn't a committee, it's just me. So I would like more people. Essentially, it's not that much work at this point, but I'd like to expand and do more with the committee. See what else we could do with that. There is a typo I didn't see, and I think it's because maybe two sentences were edited and run together in here. It says, I am responsible for contacting new people who indicate an interest in joining the committee. No, in joining the church. That's what it's about. But if you are interested in joining the committee, just let me know. Thank you.
Oh, go ahead, Bobby.
As a family, it is our responsibility as members of the church to welcome people that we see that are new and visiting. And if you don't know somebody's name, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a good reminder for all of us. Thanks. Yeah.
Good morning, I'm Jim. I'm with the session liaison to the community outreach program. And we primarily support and try to assist the local community through three ministries. We have ARM, the Assistance Resource Ministries, which one member of our congregation has been volunteering there for 10 years. And we also work with Shepherd's Inn, which is the only, I think, place for women and children who are in a dangerous situation to find shelter. And Paul Gabinet is kind enough to head that. And we have the Loaves and Fishes, which my wonderful Julia Rogers has been keeping running like a top, and all the people who give casseroles for that, I can't thank you enough. So if anyone has any interest in helping out in any of these areas, please see me after church. And we also helped ARM out by letting them use our parking lot and sales here. And don't forget, soon I'll be starting to talk about our great hour of sharing in the next month or two. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jim. More light.
Over 20 years ago, prior to John Shuck's arrival at First Presbyterian Church, the session deemed it worthy and important that our church join the Presbyterians organization called More Light, which are advocates for our LGBTQTI community. And we do More Light Sunday. We go to the Pride parades. We have, this year we shared a booth with Covenant and Ukirk. Okay, so we're a welcoming place. You know, here's the flag. We are open and thrilled when people come to join us. Okay, this is important to me. It's about being better allies. It's about being advocates. It's about standing with. And in this current political climate, we are called on to be strong allies. So in that, our illustrious leader, Jane Woodside, isn't here today, but she has been the driving force. We're going to sponsor movie matinees. We're going to show a film, LGBTQIA+. I think it's important. I can get all those letters in. And we're going to have conversations. So I just watched the first film, which is Dating Amber, and I think it will be very worthy of our time and our consideration and conversation. So please join us for those events. And remember, it's not just about a flag. It's about our hearts and standing with. So thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. And Carol.
Good morning. The peacemaking group, peacemaking team's report is on pages 16 and 17, if you have that pulled up. And I just want to say that I love the fact that peacemaking's efforts range from individual and personal efforts through the green tables, such as offering nourishment and fellowship and camaraderie, but also internationally through our work through the Pies for Peace event, through the alternative giving, that support Boroko Village in Kenya, and sending medicine vials to our developing nations for their reuse. In 2025, we'll recertify as an Earth Care congregation, continuing what I think are becoming traditions here that build fellowship as we strive for peace, including interfaith work through the Tri-Cities Interfaith and the celebration of the passing of the seasons. I want to thank you all for your support of all of those efforts. Peacemaking has done a lot, and we look forward to doing more with your help. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Say this real quick. All of this stuff is just a sliver of everything this church has done last year, is looking forward to this year. It is exciting. I hope in looking through this report and hearing this, you find something that interests you. We have a quick bit of business to do that will take us just a minute. But for everything you've heard about today, you do not have to be a member, like an official member of the church, to be a part of any of this. So don't think just because, I didn't join or I'm just showing up on Sundays, that we would welcome as many voices as want to be a part of this and join in any way. Be a part of it, because you are a part of this family. If you are here online or here, you are a part of this family. I hope you find some ways to join in. That said, our one item of business this morning is we need to pick 2 people from the congregation to be on the nominating committee this year. The nominating committee helps to suggest names of people that can do exactly what you've heard people sharing about this morning. The requirements for these 2 people are unlike what I said just a minute ago, these 2 people do need to be members of the church, also cannot currently be on the session or the deacons. So that's kind of our framework. We welcome volunteers or nominations, and once we do this, we'll sing our doxology and our benediction, and we can go to lunch. So sometimes we'll sit here for a while awkwardly waiting on people to volunteer, but you all know it is now 12:01, and the quicker you volunteer, the quicker we can have lunch. So I will open the floor up for nominations and or volunteers for 2 folks to be on the nominating committee this year. They will be joining the sessions representative, Sue Farthing, the deacons representative, Mel Faust, and Rebecca is the worship committee's representative. So anybody else interested in doing this? That's why I put this at the end of the thing, because if we put it at the beginning, we'd be here for 30 minutes. But I figure by this time I can just wait us out. So, I got snacks in my office. It is, and while you're thinking about volunteering, I'll tell you a little bit about what that job involves. The 6 of us, the 5 people on the committee and myself, will get together over the summer, and we'll just start thinking about, okay, who that's active in the church do we think would be good to ask to be on the session or the deacons? And those are the folks you've heard from this morning. So it's kind of it's a 1-year commitment, but the work really is for a short amount of time. And I see a hand back there. David, do you have somebody to nominate? Leah, do you accept David's nomination? Wonderful. Thank you, Leah. Thank you for that, Leah. We appreciate you. So we need one more to join these wonderful 4 folks on our nominating committee this year. So Bobby is respectfully declined. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Are you nominating somebody, Gregory? We can't put you back on it because you're a deacon this year.
I know. That was the whole point of me coming up here to say that. I don't get. He can't because he's on the worship.
As much as he is here every single Sunday. Be great. So.
Well, while you're thinking about it, I'm going to say this. I got nominated, and I didn't want to be a part of this. You know, it was like I was like, you know what? I'm already doing that. I don't have to have a title. That's the way I felt about it. Now, keep thinking that you might do this, okay? Whoever it is that's sitting out there. But I thought, like, I don't want to be a part of that. I'm already doing that, you know? Why do I have to have a title to do what I'm already doing? But there's structures, there's things that have to have, like you said, have to be known. So you keep thinking about who that person is. But the person that's sitting out there that planted the seed that called me, I thought about it and I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. But they planted that seed. You understand what I'm saying? The seed was planted. And then the more that seed was planted, it started growing. And then I thought, you know what, maybe I would, you know. And then this other person mentioned something. He's standing behind me, but anyway. And then the other person was way above this room, outside of this place. Can't be seen. And then it started speaking to my heart. I was like, I can do that. You know, there's a lot of fear in doing things. And I'm the first one to say that I'm full of fear. But there's sometimes that something will happen and that seed will get planted. And then you get reminded that, you know, there's no way to do this job unless somebody does it. Unless somebody steps up or steps out of the boat or whatever it may be and practice that faith. And I know that I was called to minister to people and to hearts when I was a little kid. And I just kept running from it. I think I shared this with Sarah and with Brian one time in their office back there, that I kept running from this duty that this gentleman, my mom's best friend, he was a minister, and when I would go to church, it was like, where's little Gregory at? Where's that little preacher at? And I'll be like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything. But it is so important to be a part of this family. And I'm glad I'm here. I mean, there's not many churches that will let a gay man do things in their church. It's just saying. I mean, it's just, don't need a hand clap, but it's true. It happens. But when I came here and Tom kept saying, Gregory, we got to find a church. We got to find a church. If your bellies are roaring and you're thinking like it's time to go, you can walk out the door and go. But if you want to stay, that's who I am. Brian knows that's the way it is. But it's just like there's something in this place that's different. And I'm glad that I can be a part of it. So whoever you may be, we need you.
Gregory, that was very well said. Thank you for sharing that. So who was stirred by that? To think, yeah, you know what, I can be on the nominating committee this year. I think Cody was. Yeah, I mean, if somebody online is volunteering, then, yeah.
We have a nomination from online.
Oh, great, who do we have?
Bill Kirkwood has nominated Lee Kirkwood.
Okay, Bill Kirkwood has nominated Lee. Lee has been on it before.
I have no way of knowing if she accepts the nomination.
But Bill says, Wally, with her permission, I nominate Lee.
Okay, so we take that to mean that Lee has given her consent. So then we can keep the floor open for nominations, and we can do this for a while, or if someone would like to make a motion that, oh really, I didn't even get it out, Paul. So from Paul and Wally with a second, we have a nomination, or a motion that nominations cease, and that we elect Leah and Lee by acclamation. So all in favor, please raise your hand, say aye, say yay, clap, whatever you want to do. Anybody opposed? I don't hear any, so we'll consider that unanimous. So here's what I think we'll do. We are at time, but so let's do this. Why don't we stand, we'll sing our sending hymn, number 543. We'll skip the doxology. But if you have an offering to bring, please feel free to bring it up while we sing our sending hymn, number 543. Oh, Christ surround me. This was a hymn request. I think Rebecca was the one who asked that we sing this one. But if you have a favorite hymn you want to hear sometime, let me know. I would love to work it into the service, knowing that this is one of the requests. So 543. thank you for being a part of this family. Thank you for your attention and just your presence this morning. I appreciate you. We end every Sunday by offering a blessing to one another as we part, and so I invite us to do that now. We'll circle up. If you need the words for that, they're in your bulletin. Join hands if you're comfortable doing so, and look around at this family that we are a part of and offer your blessing to these folks as we part.